After maybe decades of globalization happening, I think we're headed towards regionalization in many aspects. I'm seeing multinationals even regionalize between their different plants as to what their supply chain is. And one of the trends that I've been tracking lately is there's a lot of announcements about site builds and site expansions from the big pharma companies. People like Merck, Eli Lilly, where they have existing plants, they're saying, like, hey, I make this in two places. I'm going to allocate more into the US plant because there might be tariffs on something that I make in Ireland and have to bring it into the US. I think there's a lot more thought by the pharmaceutical companies about where their plants are located. One concern, of course, is that it takes years to build and validate a pharmaceutical plant, right? 5 to 10 years is the estimate. And so a concern is if there are suddenly tariffs on pharmaceuticals, how long does it take them to get a plant in the US if they don't have one? And what's super interesting is just this Monday, there was a new executive order that came out, and it was specifically targeted at asking the FDA to streamline the validation of new pharmaceutical manufacturing plants. Here's a problem, there's a tariff. Okay, we need to build a plant in the US. Ooh, that takes a long time. Then the new executive order is trying to address that. It's still going to take a long time. It's not going to be overnight ever to build a pharmaceutical plant. But you can see that this series of events is going to drive expansion of pharmaceutical manufacturing in the US. We could have a whole webinar just on supply chain. But I think the other thing that's really interesting that's going on, and I think about this in terms of business development and licensing, what we're noticing is that when you look at the pipeline of pharmaceutical molecules, we break it up into things that are in clinical trials and things that are preclinical. And we are seeing a lot more preclinical molecules in China. And part of it's because of the investments that the government and that country has made in their 5 year plans. And I suspect there will be a lot of relationships and in licensing of molecules from China into multinationals that will happen over the next couple of years. I think one way that companies are going to become more agile is that they will start to think about where can I get new molecules and how much of a commercialization and manufacturing engine am I versus a discovery engine. Could be interesting as we see a lot more early stage molecules coming out of China.